Okay, let's see what Freddie has been up to lately. The hills are alive with the oops sound of music, with songs that have sung for 1,000 years. Gee, Freddie, that's pretty good. The hills fill my heart with the sound of music. Freddie, I didn't know you could sing like this. This is pretty neat. My heart wants to sing every song it hears. Freddie? Freddie, can you hear me? Freddie, can you hear me? Freddie? Oh, I couldn't hear you. Those are my new Bose noise canceling headphones. I was listening to some music and singing along. Oh, that's what you were doing. Wow, those are pretty neat headphones. Yeah, cancels out all the noise. I use them at night to block out the noise of your snoring. Yeah, I know I snore pretty loud. That's what my wife tells me too. Sounds like a bear growling in the forest. Yeah, pretty bad, pretty bad. So I didn't know you liked musicals. Oh, I like all kinds of music. I listen to all kinds. Wow, that's pretty neat. So, listening is very important in Buddhism. It is? Yes, actually, listening is everything. It's everything? It's everything, especially in Shin Buddhism. We listen and we listen and we listen. So the important thing is how we listen. What do you mean, how we listen? Well, we listen with as if I am the one receiving the teachings. So, does that mean I shouldn't listen to music in the service? Yeah, you shouldn't have headphones on and listen to music in the service. What about cell phones? Can I text during service? Well, if you're texting, then you're not really listening, are you? Well, no, not really. Can I talk to my friends during the service? That's also something we should try not to do. We could talk to our friends before the service, and we could talk to our friends after the service, but during the service, especially during the message, we should just listen. Oh, I try to do that, but sometimes my mind wanders. Like you're talking and then I think, ooh, I'm getting hungry. What should I have for lunch today? Taco Bell or Jack in the Box? McDonald's or Burger King? I think about food for 10 minutes and I haven't heard a word you've said. I know that happens to me too, Freddie. Sometimes our mind wanders and we think about other things, but then we catch ourselves daydreaming and then we bring it right back to listening again. So that's how we learn how to be a good listener. In Buddhism, they say that you listen through the pores of your skin. Through the pores of your skin? How do you do that? It just means that we listen with our whole being, with our whole body, not just our ears, but our whole being. We listen and listen and listen. Whoa, gee, sounds kind of intense. Well, it just means we listen and listen very deeply. And when we learn how to listen, that helps us in all aspects of our life. Like how? Well, if you don't listen to your teachers at school, how can you learn? Oh, yeah. We have to listen to our parents. As children, we have to listen to our parents. But as parents, we have to listen to our children. If we can't hear really what our children want to say, then we miss something. So children need to listen to parents, but parents need to listen to children. And we all listen to the Dharma. Oh, sounds simple, but kind of hard to do, huh? Yes, sounds simple, but very hard to really do. And that's why we listen week after week after week, and we quietly listen. That's why the Dharma message is always after the sutra chanting, because the sutra chanting settles us down. It prepares us to be able to listen with our whole being. Okay? Okay. Well, I think I learned a lot. And I'll take my headphones home and listen to my music there. That's good, Freddie. That's good. And I'll try to listen to you as much as I can. Or anyone else who's speaking. Yeah. The others are a lot more interesting, actually. Well, yes. So you listen, whoever is speaking, we listen and listen and listen. Okay? Okay. Bye. Thank you for listening to Freddie. So on this topic of listening, I have a short video clip that I'd like to show on listening. This is by an individual his name is William Ury, and he wrote a best-selling book. I can't think of the name of it right now, but anyway, he's an author and speaker. And so if we could show this clip on listening.
Listening, I believe, is the missing half of communication. Absolutely necessary, but often overlooked. We live in an age we call the age of communication, and certainly with a lot of cell phones and texts and tweets and emails, there's a lot of talking going on. But how much listening can there really be with so much interruption and distraction? It's not easy, but it almost always starts with one simple step: listening. So this is my dream: a listening revolution that can turn this age of communication into an age of listening. In other words, an age of true communication. Imagine for a moment a world in which every child learns to listen at an early age. What if we taught listening in school, like we teach reading as a core skill? Because after all, listening is how you read people. Imagine a world in which parents learn to listen to their children. What better way, after all, is there for us to teach our children to listen to us than for us to listen to them? What better way for us to show our children that they truly matter? What better way is there to show our love? One of the biggest gifts we can give anyone is the gift of being heard. With the simple power of listening now, we can transform our relationships, our families, and our world for the better, ear by ear. Thank you for listening.
This is a TED Talk, and Reverend Turner, he's really great. I asked him, hey, can you find me some kind of a YouTube on listening? And right away he finds this, and then he edited it. You can go to YouTube or TED Talk and listen to the entire lecture. I think it's about 15 or 20 minutes. So This is where Shin Buddhism is right in with what is so important in our life today. Shin Buddhism is trying to teach us how to listen. Not only to listen to the Dharma, but if we learn how to listen to the Dharma, then we'll be a good listener in school. We'll be a good listener in our family. We'll be a good listener in our community, in how we deal and work with people at the business place. If you play a sport, or you take a martial art, or you take music lessons or dance lessons, if you don't listen to your teacher or your coach, how are you going to learn? Both of my kids are basketball coaches, and they say, the biggest challenge is getting the players to listen to the coach's instructions. See? So we have to listen. And that's the fundamental aspect of Shin Buddhism. I spoke once had a conversation with a marriage counselor who also was a Buddhist, and he was telling me in his approach to marriage counseling, usually in marriage counseling you tell couples, you have to talk more, you have to communicate better. But he tells couples, no, you have to listen. In a sense, you have to stop talking, and you have to listen to each other. And that is a key to a harmonious marital relationship. So we listen and we listen and we listen. I think I might have shared this before, but I want to share a true story about a minister that was a real listener of the Dharma. This is a story I heard from my professor in Japan, Professor Shigaragi. This one minister at a certain temple decided to have a Dharma gathering, and he let all of his members know that at such and such an evening, at a such and such a time, he was going to have a Dharma gathering. He was going to give a Dharma message. Well, that day and that evening came, but there was a terrible rainstorm, and no one was able to come. Well, the minister still went to the temple, and some time later went back home, and his wife said, well, how was the Dharma gathering tonight? And he said, well, I think because of the rainstorm, no one came. But she looked at the clock. She said, well, it's late. If no one came, how come you didn't come home earlier? She said, you didn't do the service, did you? Yes, I did the service. And then she kind of laughingly said, you didn't give the Dharma talk too, did you? And he said, yes, I gave the Dharma talk. And she laughed at him. She said, but there was nobody there. There was nobody there. Who was there to listen to the Dharma talk? And this minister said, I listen. I listen to the Dharma talk. That is a great minister. That is a really great, I could never equate that. If I called a Dharma gathering here, well, let's say 10 o'clock service, and there's a huge rainstorm and nobody comes, I wait till 10:15. If no one's here by 10:15, I'm going home. I'm going to watch a football game, But you shouldn't misunderstand this story either. It's not like the minister was saying, I spent all week to prepare this Dharma talk. Nobody's here, but I'm going to give it anyway. He doesn't have that kind of arrogant attitude. He's listening to his own message. He's listening to a truth beyond his own words. Maybe he's even reflecting as he's giving this Dharma talk. Hey, I'm saying this, but do I really practice this? Do I really live this myself? And so giving the Dharma talk was also an opportunity for himself to listen to the Dharma. That's real listening. So Shin Buddhism, we emphasize listening. And it's so nice why everyone's listening, especially during the message. We listen to the speaker, no matter who it is. No matter who it is, we listen to the speaker, and we continue, and we receive the Dharma. And little by little, we receive the Dharma week after week, year after year. Just like in the riverbed, the sand settles, and more sand settles, and more sand settles. I think that's called sedimentation. The late Reverend Unno said that's what listening to the Buddhism is. layers upon layers upon layers build into our life. And we come to become one with the Buddha Dharma in that. Thank you very much for listening to the Dharma today. Naman 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 Naman.